Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Alison and today I'm going to be making a Sunday roast chicken dinner just for 5 of us, so I thought I'd show you how I do it. So first up, I've got an extra large chicken here. I just pop it in this roasting tray or glass dish and I fill the bowl up halfway up with water, just cold water. If I do have any sage in the cupboard, I sprinkle it on just to give it a bit of seasoning, and then it goes in the oven. It's 3 o'clock now and dinner will be ready about 5 o'clock. I've already got the oven preheated to 180, so that'll go in there for an hour and a half. So the veg we're having today is mashed taters, roast parsnips, swede, carrots and broccoli. And then we'll have some gravy. So I'm just cutting up the swede because I find that this needs to go on quite early. It's a hard swede, this one. Sometimes they're a little bit softer, but this needs to go on for quite a good, I put it on for a good hour. It just doesn't seem to get soft otherwise, and I do have to top the water up so far through. So yeah, I'm just taking off the outer layer and then I need a bigger knife to do the slicing. I'd never had swede before until I went up to Newcastle when me and Simon were first dating. His dad lives up there, and his partner Leslie had made this stuff and I'd never had it before. We have it mashed with some butter in it and it was so tasty, really enjoyed it. So I always do a swede, and when we have for our friends round for Sunday lunch, Lucy really likes it. She'd never had it before, but she calls it the orange stuff because when it's boiled up it does turn quite orange. So here you go, you just need to keep your fingers out of the way when you're chopping up swede because it's quite hard. I pop all that in a pan of water, give it some seasoning of some Maldon salt, and then that goes on to boil. Next up, I'll start with the potatoes. So I'll peel a bag of potatoes. You might think it's overkill for 5 of us, but we all like roasties, and Max, who's Phoebe's boyfriend, he only has meat, roasties and Yorkshire puddings. He's weird, he doesn't do mashed potato, he doesn't do veg. We keep trying to get him to taste things. He does taste a few things, but no, he's not keen on other stuff. So I always do plenty of roasties for our Max. Obviously some of the potatoes are kept to one side for the mashed potato because I don't like a Sunday dinner without a mashed potato. I don't know about yourselves, but if we go out for Sunday lunch or to a carvery or something, I need to check that they do mash before we go. So now I'll start to prepare the parsnips. Love parsnips. I do these roasted. I do them with the carrots. I do a few roasted carrots and then the rest of them boiled. But so here I'm just grating the parsnips and cutting them lengthways, ready to pop in about 15-20 minutes after the roast potatoes have gone in. But I'll give you all the timings as to what I do. So at the moment it was 3 o'clock. I put the roast chicken in and then pretty much straight after I put the swede on. Nothing else has gone on as yet. So carrots, you'll see I've got a few here that I'm going to roast, and then the rest of them will be boiled. So at this point I do salt the carrots, and I also add a star anise. It's got a bit of like an aniseed flavour, and it really brings out the flavour of the carrot. Tom Kerridge does this with his carrots, but he does add a lot of sugar as well. I don't bother with the sugar. I just salt the carrots and add the star anise to the water. They're not going on yet. I'm just getting them all prepped. And next up's the broccoli. So yeah, I put a full broccoli in. We all like the broccoli, apart from Max. So that just gets cut up and washed. I don't salt the broccoli. So once all that veg has been prepared, I'm going to prepare the Yorkshire puddings. So for this, I use 3 eggs. This is for a tray of 12 Yorkshire puddings. I do 3 eggs. salt and pepper, it, and for some reason this is the way I do it. My mum used to do it this way. I put the salt and pepper in and then I whisk it and get some bubbles and air into the eggs before I add the flour. This is a handheld whisk. It's a Morphy Richards one. No, it's not, it's a Russell Hobbs one. This I bought new last year. My original one was a Morphy Richards one, and I had it in 1995 when me and Si got our first house together, and it only conked out last year in 2025, so it did me really well. But this one's a good hand whisk as well. So once I've whisked up the eggs and the salt and pepper, I put the 4 tablespoons of plain flour in. I don't bother sieving it or anything because it's all going to get whisked up anyway. Then I add what's called a technical term of a glug of milk. I just eyeball it, but I put about that much in. And then I've not took you over to the tap, but I'm literally putting a tiny bit of water in. Just run your tap, not too fast, in and out, and then I put the water in. So you'll see that consistency there. It's not too thick. It's now 20 to 4. So I'm going to pop the glass tray in that's going to have the roasties in and let that oil heat up. So now that oil is quite warm, I pop enough roasters in as to how many we want, and then the rest will get left over for mashed potatoes. So I turn them over in the fat and give them a good sprinkling of salt. So the time is now 4:45 when I put the roasters in. That gives them a good hour and 15 minutes. And in the oven they go. So then I just refresh the water in the potatoes so that we can get some of that starch out and give them a good seasoning with salt. They don't go on just yet. So after about 10 minutes, I put the parsnips and the carrots in, give them a coating of the oil and a little bit of salt. So at 4:20, so about 40 minutes before it's all due to be cooked, I put the potatoes on to boil and also the carrots. The broccoli doesn't need to be done yet. So as you noticed, I didn't parboil my potatoes before they went in the oven, but I find that they fluff up anyway when I come to turning them over. I don't like my potatoes too crispy. I'm sorry to say, I quite like mine a bit more soggy, to be fair. They are still crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside, but I can't be doing with parboiling. I've got enough going on the hob. But they still taste lovely when they come out. So it's now 4:30, so the chicken comes out to rest for the 20-30 minutes while the rest of the food cooks and while I'm plating up. So I just leave that to rest on a plate. I take it out of the glass bowl, out of the water, drain it off and just pop it on a plate. At this point I normally shout, "Si, chicken's out," and he comes running in and starts taking the skin off, and sometimes 1 or 2 of the legs because he can't wait for his dinner. So then about 15-20 minutes before the rest of the food's cooked, I turn up the oven to the highest possible setting, have that going for about 10 minutes while I put the fat in it's actually a muffin tray. I could do with buying a proper Yorkshire pudding tin, it's just they're a bit more shallow, but this still works in this. So I just roll the oil round to help it stop sticking and pop that in the oven to get the fat really hot. When you pour your Yorkshire pudding mixture in, it does need to be like sizzling when you put the mixture in, else your puddings won't rise. So yeah, it's actually 5 to 5. I've not heard from Max or Phoebe yet. I told them dinner were at 5, but yeah, so they've gone on a little bit later than they normally would. And then once the Yorkshire puddings go in, I do put the broccoli on with the carrots. So Simon's about to start mashing the potato. He's already had a go at the chicken. I shan't show you the state of the chicken now. It doesn't look as appealing as when it first came out. So here he is mashing his potatoes. He puts a bit of milk in and a good couple of cubes of butter. So I do apologise, I thought I'd been recording, I'd obviously not pressed record, and you'll see that the Yorkshire pudding mixture's disappeared out of that bowl. So yeah, so I took the trays out, shut the oven door while you're putting the mixture in, and then pop it back into the oven and set a timer for about 12 minutes. With this jug now I put in the gravy granules to make the gravy. I use Quixo. I like it better than Bisto, and I don't make my own gravy from scratch when I've got a lovely Quixo I can use, but I do put the vegetable water from the swede and the carrots to mix up the gravy. Just gives it extra flavour. So now we're going to mash the swede. Again, just a knob of butter goes in, and Simon always does the mashing for me, bless him. So there you have it. Nice, lovely roast chicken dinner with all the trimmings. Nice thick gravy and some cranberry sauce to boot. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you can give it a thumbs up, that would be appreciated, and if you'd like to subscribe, that would be really kind. Thanks, and see you soon. Bye.